welcome to the Music at the Piano. Today we're looking at Minuetto number 2 of the 24 short and easy pieces by Alexander Reinagle, a Scottish immigrant to colonial America. And I want to talk about reading the music by knowing the intervals, throwing in the fingering, talking about how to use dynamic nuance, how to use solfege to help you learn it faster, and also some basic techniques that help you play this piece elegantly. So first of all, the intervals. If you need to review intervals, you can find one of my earlier videos, and I might do it on my next video too, just as a review. A space note to a space note skipping a line is a third, so you skip a key and you skip a finger. So that's G down a third, and that's space to a space skipping a line, that's also a third. Repeated note, up a second, space note to a line note, repeat, repeat, up a second, down a third, up a bunch of seconds, repeat, repeat, down a third, repeat, up a second, repeat, up a second, repeat, down a second, repeat, up a third, repeat, repeat, down a second, down a third, up seconds, repeat, down a third, repeat, up a second, up and down seconds, down a third. So basically, you're either playing a white key to a white key, skipping a white key, or consecutive keys. He's done this whole piece in the right hand, using only thirds and seconds. In the left hand, he also uses fourths, because he goes down from the tonic, which is C, to the dominant, which is G, and you need the interval of a fourth to do that. You skip 2 fingers, you skip 2 white keys. So C, repeat, down a fourth, up a fourth, repeat, repeat, down a fourth, up a fourth. And that's basically all there is to the left hand. Sorry, there goes my nice beige color. That's my practice journal, among other things. All right, so those are the intervals. The fingering follows the intervals. You skip a key, you skip a finger for a third, you don't skip anything for seconds. It all plays out in the C major 5-finger pattern of C, D, E, F, G. The left hand is playing the top half of the C scale, from G with finger 4 up to C with finger 1. So that should be pretty self-explanatory. Now, when you want to play more musically, typically singers have to give more support to the higher notes and a little bit less support to the lower notes. So their higher notes tend to be a little louder and the lower notes tend to be a little softer in a very subtle range. So when you copy that idea on playing the piano, it sounds like you're playing more musically than if you just play a straight dynamic all the way across. So here I start a little louder, I do a little gentle lessening of sound here, then I build it back up, and then here I do a nice little rise up to the top note here, hold that, relax it a little bit, go back up a little bit more, and then end strong. Continue strong, come down a little, up a little, down a little, down a little, up a little, down, wiggle around, and relax into that. So hopefully you heard that. I'll play it one more time at the end. So that's your dynamic nuance, basically. Of course, a lot of times the phrase ending would take precedence, have a softer phrase ending, maybe. Oftentimes, you can use your own judgment. I don't actually do it too much here. You could do that, or you could do that, repeated notes crescendo to that. I think that would be an artistic judgment that you could make for yourself. It would be legitimate either way, either to go relax it to the end of the phrase. That sounds very nice, and this sounds nice as well, in my ear. Whatever the notes are supposed to be. So that's dynamic nuance. Now, solfege, I'm going to throw this in before technique. So the left hand is just going do, do, sol, do, and that might be a good place to start. So if you or your student were to do that while you sang the other part or played the other part, I will sing the left hand and play the right hand. You can do what you want. Do, do, sol, do, 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 sol, do, do, because I haven't practiced the right hand solfege since yesterday. So it would be so, 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 mi, do, do, re, 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 mi, do, re, mi, fa, so, 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 mi, do, do, re, 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 mi, 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 re, 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 fa, 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 mi, do, re, mi, fa, so, 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 mi, do, re, mi, do. And I would, of course, that's hard, so learn that by itself first. If you've got two people, like your student and yourself, if your student is comfortable singing alone, then you can sing the left hand. And if you really want to be very advanced about it, sing the solfege for one hand and play the piano for the other hand. Now for technique, it's basically align your arm behind the finger that's playing. So because there's a lot of fifth finger and fourth finger and third finger in this, and those fingers people always like to say, oh, those are your weak fingers. Well, they're not your weak fingers if you put your arm behind it. We tend to naturally keep our arm aligned behind fingers 1, 2, and 3. So of course they sound stronger than the fingers that don't have the support of the arm. But if you give those fingers the support of the arm, you mitigate all the other issues that happen with your hand. In fact, there aren't any issues with your hand. If you use your fingers the way they were built to be intended to be used, you pick up a pencil, they go down, right? There's nothing to be gained by going up. It is true that the ligaments here are connected in some way, fashion or other, and that you cannot lift your fourth finger up very high all by itself alone. You don't play the piano by lifting your fourth finger up. You play the piano by descending, making your finger go down, describing part of an arc, depressing the key. And there is no problem with the tendons on the underside of your hand. They all work the same. That's how you were built. You pick up grocery bags, you pick up kittens by the scruff of their neck, or however you're supposed to pick up kittens. Maybe that's not the right way, but you know, whatever. So here we go. Arm is behind finger 5, behind 3 and 1, going back to the middle, and then back to do-do-dum, pum, pum, middle, down. Middle, toward the thumb, toward the fourth finger, toward the middle thumb, da-da-da, fifth finger. Okay, so that's your technique. The same thing for your left hand. Get the arm behind finger 4 so that you have a nice rich sound down there and you don't feel uncomfortable. So I will try it one more time. I'll be softer this time. You can still do dynamic nuance if you're soft. And while I think about it, I'll talk about form as well. So here you have maybe an A phrase, your first phrase. This is very straight up 4-measure phrases, or 8-measure phrases make a made up of 4-bar phrases, and then it repeats, but it ends differently. So that's A prime. This is a totally different phrase. But this and this are the same. Because you're going to go to A prime again, except we're going to call it A2 because there's a little tiny variation right there. So the only difference between that and that are the 8th notes there. This is different, but that's the same. This is the same as that, and that, and that. So looking at the form helps you to realize that you learn those 2 bars and you know 6 bars of the piece. Then you know 2 bars of the piece just by knowing that 1 measure. This is a little bit different here. And then this is the same except you decorate that. So actually, it's not that, there's not that much new stuff going on. And also after you try it with the solfege, try playing it by memory. See how quickly you can play it by memory after you've looked at the form, the intervals, and you might learn it much more quickly after you analyze it a little bit like that. Have fun.